And here we are again in our lead this hour, coming from practice. A practice game, but not an actual game. It's just a practice game. And the Patriots, they were in Philadelphia. They were actually in Philadelphia all week, practicing, schmoozing, eating cheesesteak and tasty cakes. And then they had a date with the Eagles, and it was a amazing game. Not that we spent too much time obsessing about exhibition games, but this was broadcast, picked up by state-sponsored NFL media. And I don't know if you watched it or not. Maybe you missed it, but you didn't really miss a damn thing. You did not really miss a damn thing. This game was not a game. You had Jalen Hurts, the de facto starter, it would appear, for the Eagles, who was scratched just before kickoff. At the time, it was a mystery illness. There was some more clarity that came out as the night went on. Not COVID, not COVID. So Philadelphia fed the rotting carcass of Jump Ball Joe Flacco, tossed him out to be bludgeoned with against the Patriots defense. It was a 35-0 game, if you care about that kind of thing. You bet on the Patriots, you won some money. There was one moment where Joe Flacco came in and the snap went sailing, and it's hard to look any worse than Joe Flacco looked, who had the greatest out-of-body experience I can recall in sports. Joe Flacco, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions for the Ravens in that playoff run. Anyway, he's just still hanging out. But the story here is about the Patriots and Cam Newton and Mac Jones showcasing, both of them showcased their skills, this alleged quarterback competition. Impressive statistical data was compiled by both. Cam Newton only had one incompletion, played just a small amount. Now, for what it's worth, Skip Bayless, the highest paid broadcaster at Fox, Skip Bayless, he has chimed in on the furor, which is not really a furor. The mouth of FS1 has a hot take on the alleged battle royale at quarterback. Now, he claimed that he has a gut feeling. Skip said that Bill Belichick will start Mac Jones, keeping up with the Joneses, on opening day when the Patriots take on the Miami Dolphins week 1. His argument is that Cam Newton was never Belichick's guy. Cam was an MVP elsewhere in Carolina, and Belichick drafted Mac Jones to be his Tom Brady. So this is what I want to talk to you about. Let us discuss the question: how much stock do you put in Skip Bayless's gut feeling that Bill Belichick's going to pull the old switcheroo and start Mac Jones over Cam Newton week 1? So as a day trader, I got my app out, 0%. I am going with a 0% chance. And I think I'm being a little high on that Mac Jones starts in week 1. So my thoughts, you've got London, toilet, and mirror. And we will line all of these things up, and we will knock them down like dominoes. Now, to kick off, Skip Bayless. This is the part of the monologue where I suck up to Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is very good as an opinionator. And I think anybody that does this for a living wishes they could, there are a lot of people jealous of Skip Bayless, but the man has mastered the art. The man has mastered the art. And I give him credit. We used to have Skip on Fox Sports Radio in the early days when the network, nobody listened to it before it became the monster that it's become. But we had Skip on. He was a writer, newspaper columnist in Dallas. And I believe he worked in Chicago after that. But we had him on in random cities talking sports, and then he blew up after that. But so he's very good at what he does. That being said, not every take is your masterpiece. He's completely out of bounds on this one. It's as close to a sure thing that Cam Newton is going to be the starting quarterback for the Patriots week 1 as it is putting a Republican partisan versus a Democratic partisan in a room and having them go at loggerheads. And I'll spell it out for you. The only way in my crystal ball, and I am a distant relative of the great Nostradamus, friend of Nostradamus, although he's been a douche lately, but the only way Cam Newton doesn't start when the curtain goes up on the regular season is if he's hopping around on crutches, sleeping in the injury tent. That's about it. Period. Hard stop. And as the nursery rhyme goes, London Bridge is falling down. London Bridge is falling down. Bill Belichick is going to give Cam Newton a chance, unless the bridge comes down. He is the bridge. He's the bridge quarterback. It's up to Cam not to burn the bridge. Now, furthermore, when you take a couple steps back here, Cam Newton was not only a quarterback last season, he was absolutely useless. And I'm being kind. No pushback on that part of the story. Cam put up passing stats. You saw it. He put up passing stats that the NFL hadn't seen since the early 80s and the late 70s. And regardless, the fact that Bill Belichick brought him back after that kind of stink bomb performance tells you one of two things. Either Bill Belichick is Looney Tunes, or he believes that Cam Newton was not the problem, and it was the people around Cam Newton that were the problem. He has some degree of confidence in Cam Newton. Otherwise, what are you doing? Right? He would have thumbed his nose at the mere thought of Cam Newton. The truth is, Mac Jones, he hasn't done anything to warrant Bill Belichick's trust either. And from what we know of the public persona of Bill Belichick, this is a human being who's neurotic about game plans. And he treats the young player, the neophyte, the young whippersnapper, like a lesser individual, right? And back of toilet scum comes to mind. Now, last season, as an example, because of circumstance, Bill Belichick was forced to play more rookies than he was comfortable with, and it gave him neurosis. Belichick bellyached. I remember we talked about it on the show. He bellyached that the rookies were deep in turbulent water. Very dramatic. And that was in a year where things went all kinds of haywire because of what happened in 2020. But eventually, listen, I am absolutely certain that Mac Jones is going to get a chance. It ain't going to be right away. He's going to have to be patient. He's going to have to wait in line, right? Wait his turn. And I would play him right away. I'm just telling you what the Patriots are going to do. I've always said this. I've been very consistent over the years. The real value of a first-round quarterback is it just makes it easier. I'm a salary cap truther, but it makes it easier. The math is easier. Rookie contract, you can spread more of the bogus money around the salary cap and make it work. It's much easier. The arithmetic is much easier. It becomes a little more difficult, and some teams don't want to mess around with the arithmetic. But Mac Jones will obviously get in there, and I would use the sink or swim technique, but that's not how Belichick's going to roll. Last thing here. So I do want to pivot away from the Patriots and spend a couple of minutes on the Eagles. Now, I am the first person that says that preseason football is meaningless. Absolutely. That being said, you really want to question the coaching ability of Nick Sirianni. I mean, I know it's exhibition game, but that team was totally unprepared. I know certain guys didn't play, blah, 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 blah. But if you're not ready for an exhibition game, like, to me, all exhibition games should be decided by like a field goal or 10 points or less. You get blown out of the water in an exhibition game. And it's not like the Patriots were running their regular season offense. They were throwing scoops of vanilla ice cream at you, and you got buried by a scoop of vanilla ice cream. And so what's going to happen when you play teams that actually run exotic offenses and exotic defenses if you're the Philadelphia Eagles? And I attempted to watch some of this because I was looking for some content, and it's like the varsity versus the junior varsity. Now, the big story here was not the Patriots. It was the Eagles' Jalen Hurts, and are we getting the full story? I'm always skeptical of these reports. The Eagles' company line is that Hurts was under the weather. That was what they said initially. And then Nick Sirianni, the coach, for now, he's the guy that did the old rock, paper, scissors to determine competitive. So I like that. I thought that was good. Anyway, after the game, he announced that Jalen Hurts had abdominal pain and had been taken to the hospital. So I thought gallbladder. Eddie said appendicitis. I also thought flatulence. Diagnosed, they said, with a stomach infection. Told to stay home, according to Schefter, and rest for at least 2 days. Not COVID. Maybe he ate some bad chicken parm or something like that. I don't know. Now, we do have a mirror universe. Not a mirror on the wall, a mirror universe. Picture, if you will, a world where Jalen Hurts was actually pulled from the lineup in a cautionary move, but not because of illness. No. In this mirror dimension, right, this was a vanity move. And why? Let me explain why. Again, we're doing a parallel dimension. Eagles protecting Jalen Hurts. Hear me out. He is, by all accounts, going to be the starter. Old man Flacco will be holding the clipboard. There are no other realistic options. It's Hurts or Hurts for the Eagles. And had he gone out, Jalen Hurts, and played, even if it was only a couple of series, which was the plan, and puked, the natives would have been ruthless towards Jalen Hurts and the coaching staff. It would have been ugly. Sodom and Gomorrah. But by not playing Jalen Hurts, the Eagles have the ultimate plausible deniability. It's like, hey, yeah, we sucked in that game, but if we had Jalen Hurts, we would have been better in that exhibition game. So, again, we're doing parallel dimension, but don't discount the noise. Now, on a positive note, since social media doesn't care about wins and losses, they only care about sizzle reels and the highlight tape, Devontae Smith out of Alabama, he had a route, depending on where you grew up, go viral. And that was a ray of sunshine in the darkness. If you thought that Devontae Smith was going to stink his entire time, well, apparently that's not the case. Not the case.